Nearly 180,000 people in Jackson, Mississippi have been without drinkable water for days, and it could be a while before it's back. NBC News correspondent Rod Venegas has the latest.
Another day under a state of emergency for the people in Jackson, Mississippi, a city without clean running water.
The whole community is suffering.
For frustrated residents, there are still no assurances on when the water will run like it should.
There are interruptions in the system that are causing low pressure and in some instances no pressure for Jackson residents.
For many who can't afford to buy drinking water, overwhelmed distribution centers are the only option.
I've been here 3 hours. There is no organization. It's not fair to the people that's been here waiting.
Others filling jugs with non-potable water for toilets, cleaning, and laundry. The National Guard arriving Wednesday evening, expected to join the distribution efforts. Residents like Kelsey Shack are calling on leaders to do better.
This has been going on for too long to not have it figured out by now.
State officials say the city's water treatment plant failed entirely Sunday evening after years of problems, and issues were flagged last month, according to an Environmental Protection Agency report obtained by Mississippi Today, including staffing shortages, monitoring failures, and soaring customer complaints. The EPA telling NBC News they are working closely with FEMA, as well as communicating with state and local officials to address the growing crisis. The city's mayor says progress is trickling in.
We are expecting pressure to start increasing.
But it's not fast enough for residents in a state that has more than enough water, but no functioning treatment plant for its capital.
Rod Venegas reporting from Mississippi. Joining us now, the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi. You saw there, Chokwe Lumumba. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Boy, this is a critical situation, as the governor has said. It's rooted in a lot of history, which we can talk about in just a second. But in the immediate term, what are your residents doing to get clean water?
First and foremost, thank you for lifting this issue up. I'm at the water treatment facility now. Many of our residents are still going to distribution centers, still having the non-potable water provided through the state that that MEMA is helping to support the issuance. We have posted around the city various distribution locations and various places where they can pick up the water. And there are a number of nonprofit organizations that are helping to support the effort and independently doing various distributions. I want to thank the many cities, the many organizations that have supported this effort. I want to make it clear that it has been the city and the administration who has been lifting up this challenge for more than 3 years, saying that it's not a matter of if these systems will fail, but when these systems will fail. We've talked about the staffing shortages. We've worked with the EPA to be a part of things like the mutual aid agreement through the Rural Water Association, and they have attempted to aid and augment these staffing challenges. You know, sometimes we have to give the backdrop to these things, understanding that to become a Class A operator, which we have a surface water system, and that's what it requires, it takes 2 years with a college degree in the sciences. It takes 6 years without a college degree. And so it certainly has been the accumulation of challenges and divestment over years, more than 3 decades. When I moved here in 1988, I remember in 89 when we had these challenges. And so we're happy to have the state aboard. We've been going it alone for far too long, and to have them now at to join us is something that we welcome with open arms.
Yeah, and the EPA, as you say, put out a report 2 years ago outlining very clearly all these problems with the water system there. It sounds, reading the reports, like the fix to this water treatment plant is a big project. It's $1 billion project, presumably would take years. With that in mind, what are your residents going to do, forget today and tomorrow, but for the weeks and the months and maybe years to come as they try to drink water, as they try to bathe their children? What do they do?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I think we answered that question in 2 tranches. First is the immediate future. We are seeing gains in the system today. As we speak, I'm at the water treatment facility to get a briefing about what we saw last night in those gains and when we can expect certain areas to return pressure. But even when that happens, as always, I say that the city of Jackson's water treatment facilities are in a constant state of emergency because it's not a matter of if, like I said, but a matter of when. And so we need both state and federal support. This is a $1 billion problem, which is not within the city's capacity to meet that challenge. We are investing every dollar that we have. Not only do we have reliability challenges, we have equity challenges in our system. That is why we have invested in an $8 million pipe that helps improve water pressure to South Jackson, which is the most disproportionately affected community. That's why I'm standing right outside of our weatherization structure that we've put around our membranes, which 2 Februaries ago, when the cold temperatures debilitated our water system and shut it down, we invested in that. And so we're making investments wherever we can, but we have to be met in that process. And so that's why we're excited about the opportunity to have additional partners here on the ground. And so we believe that our residents are worthy of dependable and reliable water.
So, Mr. Mayor, who doesn't? I'm curious. You said we've been going it alone for too long. Who dropped the ball? What agency dropped the ball? I mean, to not have water, it goes way beyond a basic necessity. It's a basic reality. Why is it that we are now at a catastrophic level for the people of Jackson, Mississippi, where they don't have water?
Well, what we're looking at is a set of accumulated challenges that are the better part of 30 years. So there are a lot of people that failed to respond to this need over the course of time. It's been well documented, and I've spoken to, our immediate legislative requests each and every year, as well as lifting up the federal funding. I said that Jackson was the poster child for the infrastructure bill. The president himself, upon signing it, mentioned places like Jackson, Mississippi, and Flint, Michigan. I've been with the EPA administrator, walked the streets of Jackson and talked about these challenges, met him in Washington, D.C. I've heard his stump speech in many locations where he talks about what he saw in Jackson, Mississippi. And so while we have this historic funding, it's time to make certain that it goes from their intent to our hands. And the conduit is going to be the state. And so we're happy to have their partnership, but we have to make certain that this is a sustained effort and that it brings into fruition the dependable, equitable system that we're talking about. And so we've been ringing the alarm for an extremely long time. And we have to make certain that even when the cameras disappear, that the attention doesn't, and that the resolve to make this happen does not go away either.
The mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, Chokwe Lumumba, thank you very much for being on this morning.
Thank you.